Welcome to Geek Speak Live.
Are you there, big fella?
Hello!
Hello! It is Good Friday, so cheers to that. Now, after recommendations last week, Ginge, as to people saying, why wasn't I drinking? I took your advice, and I'm drinking.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
And by the way, Todd and Wade for Geek Speak
yes,
Live.
this is my co-host with the absolute most. I don't know, most what?
I don't know, but it's Good Friday Night Live.
It is. Happy Easter break to everyone out there. I know we're all cooped up. We're not at home recording because my home is not big enough. We're in the middle of renovations, the wife and I, at the moment. If you notice any white dust on the shirt tonight,
It's not illegal powder.
No. It's literally, I've been sanding. We're doing our toilet area up. I know it sounds boring. People go, "Oh, what are you home renovating?" And you're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Kitchen, bathroom." I'm like, "Toilet."
Okay then.
Our dunny needs a makeover.
Great.
So, yeah.
Great.
My beautiful wife's at home at the corking gun at the moment, doing all the
Sorry,
all
the
the
what?
gaps. The corking gun.
Oh, okay.
She's filling all the gaps, so I thought I'm getting the hell out of there because if I bend over with my plumber's crack, it'll be, filled.
G'day to Craig.
Hello, Craig.
Thanks for watching, mate.
So make sure you comment in there and say hi if you're watching tonight. If you've got any questions for us, we're going to be talking absolute rubbish.
Any comic movie news? Let us know.
Yes, you've got some stuff. Movie news, didn't you?
Yes, we've got some stuff happening here. Firstly, we need to start with the big news.
You're right there. You look like you're tired.
We have the opportunity to buy the 66 Batmobile.
Yeah, not my favourite Batmobile,
No.
but it's like I wouldn't pass up the opportunity to own one. A 66. It's classic. You know what I mean?
And it does have the signature of Adam West and Burt Ward.
This is a legit 66 Batmobile, Ginge.
I think this is a replica,
Okay.
but it does have the signatures
They've
of
signed-
Adam West
they've
and
signed
Burt
it.
Ward. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to know the price?
Shoot. Tell me.
Just over $110,000
Australian or US?
US.
110. So pretty expensive in Australian dollars.
Yeah, and
Whereabouts is it based, big fella?
Missouri.
Missouri.
So kind of a long way away.
We can't buy it.
No.
We can't buy it.
But would it entice you to know that it has other signatures on the car?
Other famous Batman?
No.
Ooh.
Well, did you ever watch Weird Science or Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
The Hughes films?
Yeah.
Anthony Michael Hall has signed it.
Where do I know his name from?
Because he was from all those old movies. He was also in Edward Scissorhands as the bully.
Right.
So not tipping you over the edge to buy it?
Why has he signed a 66 Batmobile?
I don't know, but if that's not going to tip you over the hill for it,
Right, come on, sell it to me. Sell it
this
to me.
signature might.
Who?
Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell, Screech. I ain't buying that piece of shit car.
Dustin Diamond has put his John Hancock on the car.
Is that his actual name?
Dustin Diamond. Yeah.
Sounds like a male stripper name.
Did you know that he did like celebrity boxing?
He's that thin.
He's not anymore, but he had like this afro haircut.
I remember Saved by the Bell because they're bringing it back, aren't they? On the.
They're bringing back like the next generation. Yeah.
Oh, because you know Rob Liefeld, the comic book artist. His wife, she's one of three. They're triplets, right? So of course she's one of three. They appeared on Saved by the Bell, or one of the girls, one of the triplets did.
Okay.
She appeared. I think she had a few roles on, like recurring, popped up on Saved by the Bell back in the day. Yeah. Hello, Laura. Hello, Scott. Nice to see you watching tonight.
G'day to Thomas.
Thomas is there as well.
Hey guys.
Well, my lovely wife has put down the corking gun. She's tuning in. Hello, wife. Anyway.
I don't think she'd be too happy about you telling her that the corking gun
What?
is being in use.
She's doing a great job in there. So we haven't painted yet. We're not even at that stage. We're at the preparation stage. There's dust flying everywhere, and yeah. So that's the rest of my weekend sorted.
Jamie's just said, "Holy dead God on a stick bag." G'day to Scott. Hi Laura. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Okay. What else were we going to talk about now? Yeah, go shoot.
All I was going to say is, after all this coronavirus stuff is all done, where are you hoping to go?
Where am I hoping to go?
Are you going to go on travel overseas? Are you going to see things?
Oh, you're talking about doing a holiday?
Yeah.
Shit. I wanted to go back to the UK maybe next year, but I don't know whether that's going to be viable. Yeah. And then I watched a movie the other night. Have you ever watched 21? It's where the card counting guy, Kevin Spacey, and
No.
and all that, where he's got the college students that go to Vegas with him each weekend.
Okay, yeah.
They're all at MIT.
Has it got Matt Damon in it?
No.
Doesn't it?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's got Matt...
It's not Matt Damon. He's not in it. Lawrence Fishburne is.
Maybe Matt Damon's in the other one.
Matt Damon.
You know when they have two movies that are about the same thing that come out
Pretty
at the
much.
same time?
Well, it could be. But anyway, 21. I watched that the other night, and then, because it was in Vegas, I turned to the wife and said, I really want to take you to Vegas one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't turn to my on-screen wife. We've been to Vegas
Multiple
twice.
times.
Yeah. But no, I did. I had a nostalgic pang to go back to Vegas.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's a beautiful... Have you ever been there? Any of our people tuning in, listening here? Hello, Kent. Hello, Andreas. Hello, Emma.
G'day.
So, yeah, has anyone else gone to Vegas? Because I tell you
Well, who's
what...
hoping to?
Yeah, do you want to go? Not with us. Well, you can. If I don't know, if we all chip in, we could do a big thing over there.
Scott's just let us know Matt Damon was in the late 90s gambling movie with Ed Norton. There we go.
Not 21 though, is it? No, 21 is the one I watched the other night
Okay.
with Kevin Spacey. He who shall not be named. Kevin Spacey.
The reason I say where do you want to do it after this, because Disneyland
Yes.
is considering when they open the parks, is that they're going to be like at the customs where they get the temperature and check your temperature as you're coming into
why
the
are you
park.
holding it to your head? They just scan you.
Because
don't they?
it's almost like a barcode scanner where they scan it on your forehead
Check your temperature.
to check your temperature. Well, I'm glad they do that rather than saying, right, bend over.
I don't know if you can really check the temperature doing that,
do,
Ginge.
do you remember ever
You
trying...
got a bad deal at TSA.
Do you
I tell
remember ever faking, like being sick to try and stay home? And
I know my mother doesn't watch this show. Yes, I did on numerous occasions.
because
Did you ever get away with it?
no,
I
God,
did.
no,
I did.
I had to be fucking dead.
I'm
to
a
stay
better
home
actor
from
than
work.
you, Ginge. I sold it.
See, the thing is, Mum had this high-tech thermometer, right?
Oh.
Now it wasn't. You didn't put it under your tongue or anything.
I don't think we want to know where this is going.
It looked like a piece of film, like photographic film. And what you did is you put it on your forehead, and the temperature would actually show up, and it'd show how hot you are.
Are you for real?
I am absolutely. It was like
Are you sure your mum didn't have you bamboozled
No.
with just a bit of film and she goes, wait, this is a special test? And no, you might have been at death's door and she was just like, I don't want him around the house today.
No,
Go to
because
school.
it was almost like photographic material that it would see the temperature. And I tried to get out of it by turning on like the
Silent.
reading light
Yeah.
and heating it up.
Too hot.
But then
Too hot.
But then it started to bubble and
Rookie
yeah.
fucking mistake,
Yes,
Ginge.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
God. I have to teach you. I really have to teach you some stuff.
G'day to Rob watching at home. Yeah, I never got away with
That sounds like
pretending
something
to
out
be
of a
sick.
modern sci-fi movie where they just whack this thing. I mean, I took it the one at home you got to do under the
What?
armpit, you know?
Under your armpit.
Yeah, you stick it under your armpit.
Don't you put it under your tongue?
No, this one's armpit.
Well, how could that be a gauge of how hot you are?
Apparently it is. You pop it under there, right?
What about if you've been exercising? That'd be hotter than your forehead
Apparently not.
or under your tongue.
Apparently not. It works. That's what it's designed for.
Well, okay then.
So, fucking rookie mistake, Jim. Rookie mistake. I have been. I tell you what. This is one thing this whole coronavirus thing has done. It's allowed me to catch up on a number of books.
Yep.
Graphic novels, comic books, stuff like that. I've been putting off reading or just haven't had a chance to get to. I've caught up on a lot of those. And movies. I am watching a ton of movies at the moment. So the wife and I have just binged Divergent,
Oh,
Insurgent,
Oh, God.
and the third one.
Oh, no.
Which was meant to be. They're meant to make 2 parts to it or something. They cancelled it, right?
Because it didn't even come out in cinemas, did it?
I don't know. What I do know is I had a flashback because we put it on the first one, right, Divergent, and the wife was like, "Do you remember this? We've seen this?" I'm like, I don't know. And then get into a couple of minutes, I'm like, I do remember this, but I don't think we saw it together. She goes, No, you saw it with Ginge. I went, Ginge and I watched this together, and then it pinged.
And where was the point where it pinged? Because there's one of 2 points where it could have pinged for you.
Where do you think it pinged?
I think it pinged when old mate took his shirt off. Because
Yes.
5 minutes beforehand, she took her shirt off, and you or I were in there going,
No, but hang on.
But when he
Hang
took
on,
his shirt
hang on.
off-
We haven't given the preface as to why we were together watching Divergent. We went to the premiere together,
look,
okay?
we won tickets to go
We
see
won
it.
tickets. But the premiere was actually done as at Chicks at the Flicks, right?
Which wasn't written on the ticket.
Not when he rang me up and said, do you want a ticket to Divergent? And I said, well, I'll take the lovely wife. And my lovely wife was crook that night. So she goes, you and Ginge go to watch it. And you're like, yeah, right, I'll watch a movie. So we went to watch
It's
it
a
together.
sci-fi movie?
It's a sci-fi movie. So we're sitting there and everyone's piling in and there's women everywhere and we're just two guys sitting in the cinema. I think it was probably one or two other guys who were reluctant husbands who'd been dragged along.
But we were one of maybe 5
Guys.
at the very most.
Packed cinema. We were about 5 guys at the max, and us two sitting together looked very conspicuous together. Anyway, so that moment where Four, I think it
We
is,
had to say, it's not what you think.
Four takes his shirt off, right? That's the character, and around us erupted with woo! Yeah! And Ginger and I are looking at it going, he's not all that, you know.
And I was thinking, how sexist is this? And then she takes her shirt off. And
The other
we
part,
felt like we couldn't say a word.
the other part that pinged it for me was where, and spoiler alert if you've never seen this, right? Ashley Judd's character as a mum dies, right? Spoiler alert. I said spoiler alert. If you didn't listen, bad luck.
Man. Oh, it's like
It
flashbacks
was a
to Numb.
sad part. It's a sad part, right?
Oh.
But I'm sitting there invested in the movie, and Ginge taps me on the shoulder, very like this. I'm like,
Hey, do you
what?
want some popcorn?
Yeah. Malteser? And I'm looking, and you've got this look of panic on your face, looking at me like and I'm like, what? And you've leant back, I've leant forward, and the girl beside you is bawling. I've got criers on my side, there's criers in
tears,
front.
full on sobbing, bawling.
Right, because this character has died, and Ginger's looking at me like, what do I do? And I'm just like, I'm trying to do the old, well, you were single at the time, put the old arm around, you know, just go, they're there. But you didn't, you were a gentleman,
Oh,
right?
God.
We had criers all around us, and as soon as I saw that part of the movie again, I was just going, oh, I remember this movie now. Because we got to the end of it, walked out, and everyone's drying their eyes, all these women, and you and I like, that was actually not a bad film. So
and I was there going, geez, it was awfully dusty in that cinema tonight. Like
someone else was bawling
it was a
beside
little
me.
bit, like it was a little bit dusty.
Hi Gary, hi Jeff, hi Rob. There's a bunch of people tuning in.
Hey guys,
here.
thanks for tuning in tonight.
But yeah, so that we sat there, we binged those 3 films. Now, as I said, there was meant to be a 4th film. My wife's got the book series somewhere at home.
Because weren't they planning to split it, like
Split
Lord
it,
of
yeah.
the Rings or like Harry Potter?
Because they get outside of Chicago in it, like
Okay.
outside the walled city, and the idea is that, you know, they were then going to, without ruining it, at the end of the 3rd movie,
Spoiler
they
alert.
were meant to go back, they're like, we're going to go back and sort this, and it never happened. So it ends well enough, the 3rd film, that you go, okay, but I can see why people were disappointed, but apparently it didn't make a lot of money, so they just went, no 4th part, nyeh. Next.
Talking about movies that didn't make a lot of money, the Valiant Comic Universe movie expansion,
Not Bloodshot.
Bloodshot.
Yeah, but it came at the wrong time. It came out in the middle of coronavirus.
It has been the term they used is complete box office flop.
Oh.
But
it was in the box office for all of, what, 2 days? How?
and no one was allowed to go to cinemas.
Yeah.
But what's happened is it's now streaming, and it has outperformed Birds of Prey
Really?
on streaming
I
platforms.
still haven't watched Birds of Prey. I'm so sorry. Like, I know there's going to be people watching tonight who are going to go, you haven't watched Birds of Prey? We just have not had a chance. Is it streaming for free now?
It is. Well, yeah.
Because I've got all the friggin' streaming services at home. I might as well sit and watch the bloody thing. I like Margot Robbie as an actress. I
Yeah.
really do. I think she's fantastic.
I'm glad that she's taken it upon herself to create her own production company and finding scripts for herself and making her own movies.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like I, Tonya and such.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of that version of Harley Quinn. The new 52 version of Harley Quinn. I like classic Harley. You know, with the jester
The animated
costume.
series.
Yes, the animated series. I love it. That's my version of Harley. And I tell you what, if you're looking for a fantastic book, and I would normally hold the book up right now and go read this comic, I am sold out until next week. It's sold like hotcakes.
Oh wow!
And I always stuff his name up. He's a Croatian artist, Stepan Stejic, I think is how you pronounce it. Harleen from DC Comics, their Black Label book. I know I'm doing this because I don't have the book to hold up. It is phenomenal.
We'll just superimpose it in post.
He is my wife's favourite artist. Him and his wife Linda work together a bit. They've done
Yep.
a series called Sunstone that's come out through Image Comics. That is a phenomenal series. If you've never, it's an adulty kind of book. Talk to your local comic shop, and they will explain it to you if they don't have it on shelf. Some of them may be reluctant to put that book on shelf because as I said, it's adult content, but really phenomenal. But his book called Harleen.
Yeah.
You've got to pick it up. It's a hardcover. It's beautiful, oversized. It's that European format they're going for with a lot of the Black Label books from DC Comics at the moment. 2 thumbs up. This book is phenomenal. So check out. When I get more copies in, I'll try and show you some of the artwork.
Okay, cool.
And I'm doing this with my hands a lot tonight. I've got nothing there to put there. So
G'day to Dan, watching at home. Also, Scott has said that they're currently watching the animated series. There's no other Harley. Way to go.
actually, speaking of animated series, have you watched any of the Kaylee Kuko?
Oh, the new
one that's like I don't think it's streaming over here. I've watched bits of it. Like they've mashed episodes or cut episodes into 3 parts to put on YouTube.
Yep.
When I say they, not DC Comics, someone has done that. And I watched it, and it is not your dad's version of Harley Quinn. It is rough. There is so much swearing and stuff. It's quite well done.
Yep.
And Diedrich Bader is back voicing Batman for it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the guy who voiced Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold. So if you get a chance, if you can get it full episodes, let us know. Otherwise, you can watch bits and pieces of the episodes.
Okay, cool.
All over YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
While we're talking Harley
Quinn.
I'm part of a fan group on Facebook about the '89 Batman.
Yes.
And someone who I think they were born in the '90s.
Yeah.
Uploaded a photo of Jack Nicholson and Jerry Hall from that movie, right?
Yes.
And
one of my all-time favourite Jokers, by the way. Jack Nicholson is the Joker. He will always be my favourite Joker.
And they've said, was Jerry Hall playing a character that could have been Harley Quinn? And I've gone, you have no idea, do you?
She was never created back then.
She wasn't created. She was only created for Batman, the animated series.
Yeah.
So 1989, the character wasn't
Not a thing.
a thing. So conspiracy theory, it probably... It could have happened in an alternate universe,
Maybe.
but not in this one.
Not in this universe. Actually, I just want to say, so we've got Gary Challender, the legendary Australian comic creator,
Hey, man.
tuning in. G'day, Gary. Love your work. That's 2 thumbs up. That's fantastic to see. Now, I do want to mention, when Ginger just said about the Batman, 1989 Batman, see these beautiful PVC statues we put on the table every week, right? These different, awesome. This is Thor, God of Thunder. Guess what they're releasing later this year, Ginge?
Is it the Batman where he's on top of like the globe?
They're doing a PVC Batman 89. It's going to be phenomenal.
I am so not going to have a lot of money at the end of this year.
Pre-orders are being taken right now. I know our shop is doing it, Kaboom Comics in Toowoomba, so we're taking pre-orders. If you're a Batman 1989 fan, you've got to check this
The
thing out.
silhouette just looks amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The end of Batman 89, I still get chills as the camera pans up with him standing there and the
gong?
big gong
Oh.
or Liberty Bell. Oh.
That's why my wife looks at me funny whenever we watch that movie, and I'm just sitting there going...
We're sitting here like two half-open
pocket knives. That is so Australian for you, isn't it?
Can I go back to the Valiant cinematic universe?
Yeah, because Bloodshot was going to launch... They hoped that the Bloodshot was going to launch it.
Yes.
Didn't happen? Not
Well,
going to happen?
it's in limbo at the moment. The thing is, John Cena has been teasing the fact that he was going to play Exo Man of War.
Oh.
I mean,
I
I always thought that character was pretty cool.
I like John
armor,
Cena.
I always look,
John Cena's a top bloke. I like him. I watched, I think we talked about it the other day, didn't we? Daddy's Home. I watched the first 2 of that, and John Cena rocks up in there.
Is he?
Yeah, he plays another dad.
I wonder if this is on the back of John Cena being in the new Fast and Furious with Vin Diesel. Are they mates? And Vin Diesel went, "Hey, get my mate."
Yeah. Could have. I don't know.
Well, he's very much not a fan of The Rock.
Do you remember the 90s version of like Exo Man of War? They used to be everywhere, those comics with the chromium covers.
Oh yes.
Well, back in the night, this will be for the young people watching won't understand. We had these shops like Overflow, Pick and Save, Lionel Lemon's Pick and Save.
Yeah, Silly
They
Sollies.
were discount clearance shops essentially. And
Yes.
You find them in most major towns or cities in
Yes.
Australia. And they'd buy stuff clearance and then just sell it for like $2, $3, whatever. And they used to have a bin of Valiant comics, the Valiant acclaim comics from the 90s. You know, Solar, Man of the Atom, Turok, and of course a Bloodshot. Remember that beautiful covered chromium?
I remember
You're
going.
making some weird fucking noises tonight, man.
I remember going through the shelves, to find the one that hadn't been creased, or the one that had been less creased than all the other ones.
And we're like, this book's going to be worth something one day, so we bought like 2 or 3 copies of it. And it is still worth like 50 fucking cents. Because it was overprinted to the shithouse. Like, every in America they call them 5 and dime or whatever, I don't know, but 99-cent stores. And they were everywhere, those books. But they I don't know, the nostalgic soft spot there. We have said, and we forgot tonight to bring them along, we're going to do our favourite comics, or books that got us into comics and stuff like that. Yeah. I've still got my first comic at home. I've got to dig it out of the box. I got to sort the box out to be able to find it, to bring it in.
Do you remember Time Walker? I'm sure he was a part of those as well.
Oh, could have been. Some of the 90s comic fans might tell us in the comments there. Actually, tell us your favourite comic book. What book got you into comics the first time around? What was the character, story arc maybe?
Let us know in the comments below. A heap of people commenting at the moment.
Gary said, Mad Love, great comic. Yes. That I love Mad Love. That is fantastic. There's a little note. If you haven't checked out Harleen yet, when you do, keep an eye just in little things throughout the artwork.
Yep.
There's a scene where she rocks up with coffee for the guards at Arkham. She's a doctor at Arkham in the start of this book. And written on the coffee mugs is the guards' names. And one's like Tim, Timm, and Deanie. And it's this nice little nods that Steppen put in there.
Okay, cool.
For the creators of Harley Quinn, a bit of a nod, a tip of the hat, sir, kind of thing. So
Laura wasn't a fan of that new series at all.
Couldn't get through a whole episode, Laura. It's not your traditional Harley Quinn. It is very adult Harley Quinn. But yeah, do Usagi Yojimbo. Yes. Do you remember the Turtles toys? Where they brought out the Usagi? That was my first introduction to the character Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah.
And then because I was a Wizard kid. You remember Wizard, the comics magazine?
The amount of flashbacks.
This is a nostalgic episode tonight.
Whoa.
And I remember seeing the like art, and they do a story or a feature on Stan Sakai, I think it is. But anyway, you've sent me a video about him not long, about a year ago. Phenomenal. When you actually learn his history, how he got into comics. It's on YouTube. We'll have to post a link somewhere. It was fantastic. But I remember flicking through, and then that's how I got to know more about Usagi Yojimbo as the character, was through Wizard. It's how I found out a lot of things. About Mike Allred, some of the original guys from Image, some of their work. I found all that through Wizard. Wizard was a gateway to so many,
it was a gateway drug.
It kind of was. I'd get my comics from the local comic shop, or it was a book exchange here in Toowoomba. We had 2 comic shops at one stage, Top of the Range and then May's Book Exchange. And you were 2 camps, right? You got your books somewhere. For me, it was May's Book Exchange. Judy, if Judy is ever watching this, hand on heart, she was amazing. She got me so far into comic books collecting and everything else. And I've met a lot of mates who through my shop now here in Toowoomba, those guys used to shop at Jude's as well, at May's Book Exchange. Or you had Top of the Range comic. It was owned by a Brisbane company. Okay? And they were always a little bit kind of, standoffish with customers. So I used to get my books at Jude's, May's, and then if I had money left over, I'd nip up the road to have a thumb through the back issues at Top of the Range and stuff like that. And then, on the way home, I'd always buy a copy of Wizard from the local newsagent. Oh. And I would pour over there. We were in high school.
Yes.
So it'd be study period, right? And everyone else is fucking studying shit that's going to get them through life, you know?
No. Let's put it in perspective. 15-year-old boys were looking through magazines, looking at stick magazines. We were looking at Wizard.
And getting really, oh my God, look at the
making
price
the same sound effects.
Look at the Bloodshot Zero, Jim.
Oh my God. Connor Hawke is the only Green Arrow.
Fuck oath, I will stand by that. I love Connor Hawke. But anyway, Oliver Queen first, then Connor Hawke, thank you. Right? I loved those 90s. Kyle Rayner as Green Lantern. Yeah. Wally West, he's still my favourite Flash as Wally West.
Yep.
And I love Dick Grayson becoming Nightwing and all that kind of stuff. So there was... That was a special time for us, pouring over those Wizard magazines. And it opened the door to so many other characters that I would then go and hunt out, or I'd see in a shop, like things like Hellboy. I wouldn't have known friggin' Hellboy until I actually looked at, at Wizard and gone, who's Mike Mignola? And I went, oh, this is awesome, I like this stuff. So that's what got me into comics.
Cool.
Here I am, flash forward, what was that, nearly 30 years ago, right? God, I feel old. And I run a comic shop, so maybe if I had have actually put my head in the books and studied something, I would be rich and famous today instead of owning a comic book store.
Well, you wouldn't be married to your wife, who Gen 13 is what got her into comics.
It was, and actually we have bought some Gen 13 stuff together, just for nostalgic reasons
Yeah.
for Danny. Yeah, not that she bought them through me. She bought them in Brisbane. She's a Brisbane girl. We met years later. She come into my shop here in Toowoomba, and Geek Romance, we fell in love and are now married.
Catch up on some comments of people that have made on the post.
Gary said Paul Galassy's Master of Kung Fu. I love Paul Galassi. His stuff that he did in Batman as well. Actually, here's a thing for you, Gary. I used a piece of Paul Galassi art on our Easter sign on the front door of the shop this weekend. It was a Paul Galassi piece of Batman Catwoman together. So, yeah, he's always been a favourite artist of mine too.
G'day to Lynn watching at home.
Hello, Lynn. That's my mother-in-law, Lynn. Hello, Lynn. We are apart. It looks deceiving. It's a metre and a half
distance.
apart.
Look, see, we can't touch hands. See?
No.
See?
See?
See? We can't. Other comics that people...
Barry Windsor Smith's Conan. Yeah, I've never been a big Conan fan. I know that sounds horrible, but I do appreciate the man's artwork. I've just never been a barbarian kind of swords and sandals type kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Laura, Superman Earth 1 series was her introduction, thanks to Todd.
Oh, yes, Laura. I put you onto that. It was a great book. Shane Davis on the artwork on that thing. Phenomenal. I met Shane in Brisbane a few years back at a Supernova event. Yeah, got some original, got a couple of prints signed. Sorry,
That's cool.
Yeah, he's a really nice bloke.
Scott says Godzilla Dark Horse run was the first series he collected.
Holy yeah!
And what got him into comics then, 93 Green Lantern, Dr. Light Christmas issue into DC's after that.
That was, once again, Scott, that was classic, awesome DC back in the 90s there, when you had that new generation of heroes coming in.
And Gary said also Tomb of Dracula.
Yes, I've read some of the old Tomb of Dracula stuff. It's phenomenal. I love that. They built suspense in those stories back in the day, which, I'll be honest, a lot of modern writers, I reckon, struggle to get. You know, like, it's hard to describe, but guys like Chuck Dixon, who's one of my all-time favourite writers, Alan Grant, you know, those guys could write a good story and have drama built up into it, and you had to use this thing here to read between the panels, and you created things in your head a little bit, whereas a lot of modern writers, I can thumb through a book really quick and just go, done, you know, and go, I didn't really get a lot out of that.
That's not that Kevin Smith.
Which one?
Well, there was no dialogue in the entire
Oh,
book
his Hit Girl book that came out, the first issue of Kevin Smith on Hit Girl.
there was this huge prestige about this book.
Kevin Smith's writing
It's
Hit
going
Girl.
to be
I'm gonna
amazing.
Get it.
It's going to
It
be
was
dialogue full.
fucking silent issue. I just got to the I went, oh my god. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the artwork in it, but it's still. You're like, Kevin Smith's writing a book. I want to get some dialogue in there. He's the king of dialogue. Disappointing.
Yeah. No.
Any other ones there for me there, Ginge?
We've got some movie news. A trailer come out in the last couple of days for a new Netflix film with Chris Hemsworth.
An Aussie boy.
And it sounds like he's keeping his Australian accent in this movie.
I hadn't seen it till before the show. Ginge got me to watch the trailer. It's called
Extraction.
Yeah, it's a Netflix movie. Coming to Netflix when?
The 24th of April.
Ooh, so not that far
So
off.
not too far away.
And I watched the trailer. It looks phenomenal. It's also got our mate that just played Hellboy in the latest Hellboy movie, David Harbour. David Harbour's in the movie as well. So there you go.
And it revolves around Chris Hemsworth having to rescue a kidnapped kid, but the kid is the son of like this huge drug kingpin.
Yeah, like a part of a drug cartel, and he's being held hostage by a rival drug cartel. And so he's got to go in and get proof of life and all that kind of stuff, and then the job goes south.
And it seems like the entire city is hell-bent on not letting them escape.
So if you're a Chris Hemsworth film fan, if you're a Chris Hemsworth fan, God, I've got to have another whiskey. You're going to love this film because he looks phenomenal in it. I love him acting. I think he's, as Molly Meldrum used to say, do yourself a favour and check out.
And if you liked Endgame, the Russo brothers, Joe Russo has written this film. And the stuntman...
Do you say Russo or Russo? I always say Russo.
I don't know. Column A, column B.
I'm doing very Russo brothers, and you're very like Australian. Russo brothers.
The guy that's directing it has been a stuntman in all of the Russo brother films.
Russo.
All the Russo brother films. So it looks really action-packed, and can't wait to check that out.
Hi, Tim. Tim's just tuned in. Good to see you there, Tim. Don't forget, people, tell us more of your first comic book that got you into comics, first character or story arc. We still didn't talk about it. The first story arc that you and I both got into
Yes.
was Nightfall. It was back when Batman was broken. Jean-Paul Valley was in the costume as Azrael.
The very last episode. The very last episode.
You come to school. This is the thing, right? I've been retailing comics now for 17 years. All because of this man right here. He bought the first comic book that got me. I'd read comics as a kid. I used to steal my older brother Kent if he's watching. Yeah, Kent used to steal your books. Kent used to read Ren and Stimpy, Hot Stuff, Richie Rich. Those kind of the Harvey Comics characters.
Yep.
I used to read through those.
So not the real comics.
Oh, he loved that. So Uncle Scrooge. Kent was a big Uncle Scrooge fan, and Looney Tunes. So I used to read all that kind of stuff as a kid, and I never just went, oh, I'm a comics fan, right? I just went, oh, it's something to do. And then you come to school one day, we're in grade 8, and you went, I bought this comic, read this. I'm like, oh, comic.
Are we going to age ourselves by saying the date? 1994.
1994 when we were in high school, yeah, at grade 8. So that's how old we are. Anyway, I'm flicking through, I'm reading going, that was really cool. So that afternoon, I had to go with Mum to do some shopping. We're going past the newsagent at the shopping centre. I said to Mum, can I nip in and grab a comic? And Mum's like, he wants to read more books. Fantastic, go, buy yourself some stuff. And not that I was a reluctant reader, I think I'd read the household out. Everything, because Mum had trouble keeping enough books up to my younger sister and I. My 2 older brothers, not massive readers, but my sister and I, huge. I used to get in trouble for reading the frigging back of the cereal box. I had to have something to read over breakfast. I'd flip through the paper from the day before. Mum would be like, don't read the newspaper at the table. Have your breakfast instead. So anyway, when she saw that I wanted to get comics, she's like, yeah, go nuts. So I bought the issue before the one you bought in, and the issue after it. And so I've gone that night, read them, and come into school and saying, here, dude, read these. I kept going ahead with comics. You didn't. You kind of...
Well, see, there was this thing called money that I didn't have. So...
So I kept going with it, though. And then I was only getting Batman. And I remember a kid. I was buying them at the news agency. Go in every week.
I was at the big box stores buying the 50 cent out of the tray. That was like 4 years old.
I was still grabbing... so you go in 1 week it'd be Shadow of the Bat. 1 week it'd be Detective.
Shadow of the
Batman.
Bat.
I used to have it down to there was a pattern that used to come out to, and I'd have it down pat. I still remember it. It would be Batman, Shadow of the Bat, Detective Comics, Robin. So that was my little mantra, how I remembered which week of the month it was for the books coming out, right? And then it used to really fuck me when it was a 5th week, and there'd be an annual would come out, right? I'd be like,
because they're always a thicker book too.
Yeah, annuals, yeah, they were dearer. But that's how I got into it, and I used to buy them through news agencies. And then one day, this other kid, I think he was a grade higher than us, Matthew McHugh at school, said to me one day, he goes, there's a comic shop in town. And I'm like, ping! The fucking light went on. I'm like, where is this magical place you describe? And it was Top of the Range Comics, and I walked in there, and do you remember Legends of the Dark Knight?
Yes.
When that launched, right?
There are so many comics.
There was 4 or 5 copies of that book with all different and I didn't know. I was a novice at the time, a noob, right? So I've gone into this comic shop and I've gone, Legends of Batman, Legends of the Dark Knight. I like Batman. I'll buy the blue cover because it must be part 1. Not realising, no, I'll grab the blue and I'll grab the yellow and the pink, right? Because they must be all different issues. And I got home, I read the blue one, that's pretty fucking good. Open the pink one, that's the same fucking comic. Open the yellow, they printed like 4 or 5 different colour covers. So I had, and
alternate covers.
I felt, and the guy behind the counter didn't tell me, right? He never just went, hey, kid, that's actually the same comic. You're actually buying, do you want to buy the same comic 3 or 4 times? And I would have gone, oh, no.
I'll take the blue cover.
Yeah, and I'll buy some other cool shit. No, motherfucker didn't tell me, did he? So anyway, I felt a little bit jaded for a week or 2 after that, and I didn't go back to that shop. And then another guy at school goes, I'll go down to May's Book Exchange. That's where we get our comics. And I went, oh. Once again, light went ping. And Jude was phenomenal. I used to go down, put my orders through the previews magazine. You used to have to put your order number beside the image in previews. So I can't even remember my number back then. And then she'd order the books in and you go in and pick them up. I used to go down every single week, right through until after I graduated high school. So even in senior year, when everyone's freaking out about friggin', careers and stuff like that, and then the big exams, and everyone else is like, are you cramming for your exam? And I'm reading comics going, I'm cramming the DC Universe history.
You're like, oh my god, Rush Hour Goon's going to
So, as you can see, I've wasted my life. No,
wasted or invested?
I turned a hobby into a business, and I haven't looked back 17 years ago. So it's just amazing, those nostalgic things that get you into into something like
So
that.
the thing is, let's say if you had to close the shop up,
Yep.
I don't think you would be able to go to another shop and buy comics because it's been ruined for you.
Oh, I'd never be able to set foot in another. Like, even when I'm overseas, I will go in other shops, but I'm doing research.
You're checking out the way they've laid the shop
Yeah,
out,
we
the
just
way,
did
what
it
they've ordered.
over Christmas when we were in the UK. The wife and I in Scotland. We spent Christmas in Scotland, and we were going every town we go into, every city, you know, London and all that. And London was so disappointing this time because this is my third trip to London, and the comic shops are shutting. You know, there's getting less and less cool comic shops over there. One of the greatest comic shops I'd ever set foot in back in the day, Orbital Comics, doesn't do new release comics at all anymore. It's just back issues and that was a bit heartbreaking. But Forbidden Planet had just opened a massive, big new 2-story shop in Glasgow, which was phenomenal to go. It had only been open a couple of weeks. But I still go in and check comic shops out whenever I travel, be it around Australia, New Zealand, overseas. The US, we went into a couple over there in the US.
Yep.
I've been to Golden Apple. We went to Meltdown before it shut. Well, a couple of years before it shut, obviously. Who else have we been to?
I've been doing a spring clean,
Have you? Fuck, I've seen your house.
and I found some of the
That's a big
business,
job.
some of the comic shop business cards that I collected in New York that I was meant to give to you.
Yeah, great.
So
That's
I'll
a couple
do-
of years ago.
I'll-
You never gave them to me.
I'll do that.
Useless. Useless. I've had mates leave Kaboom cards at Midtown Comics and stuff like that. So whenever they've travelled overseas, they've gone, can we get some of your business cards? And they've left Kaboom cards overseas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then they're just going, put that in there.
Yeah, rip. Kaboom Comics, never heard of them. So that was the worst American accent I've ever done.
I don't know.
Actually, no, I've done some pretty
I
bad
don't
ones.
know.
Any other questions for us, Ginge? Anyone?
Just say good day to everyone that's watching at home. Tim is watching.
There you go. Jamie said, I had moved away from comics for years, and just passing by one day, my son walked into Kaboom, and it's inspired me to get back into comics. Oh, thank you, Jamie. Fantastic. I'm glad we could get you back into books, man. I hear that from a few people, though. You know, lapsed comic readers, haven't read a book in years. They come in, and I always treat every customer as it could be their first comic. They might not be familiar with comics. So we don't do that snobby thing behind the counter of, oh, you don't know what's going on at Marvel right now with Empire. Well, you're not one of us, right? I don't know why I've done it in a bad British...
No one knows what's happening at Marvel at the moment.
No, but we always try and work people through and go, what's your favourite character? What do you like on TV? Favourite cartoons? Stuff like that. Especially when parents are trying to get their kids into comics. Because they'll come in half the time without the kids first. Suss the store out and they go, oh, it's a pretty store and it's
There's no
well lit.
porn.
And, you know, and the guy behind the counter's not too creepy, thankfully. Bet you. And so we always walk them through it and go, do you know what your son or your daughter's into? I'll be honest though, it's easier to point comics out for young girls to get into. There's so much cool stuff out at the moment. It's harder to get a young guy into comics.
Okay.
Even though boys are reluctant readers and comics are fantastic for them, there's the big companies, apart from IDW is printing some Marvel hero stuff at the moment, Avengers. John Somerviva, the Aussie artist, he was the artist on the IDW Marvel action series, right? So they do that kind of well. DC's got sweet FA out for young readers, apart from some of these new little graphic novels, the DC Ink graphic novels, I think it is. There's Ink and Zoom. One's young readers, one's young adult. And they're not great books. I need to see the companies bring out more, you know, like the Batman the Animated Series, or even just a Batman. It doesn't have to be cartoony. Just do a cool Batman that's not too dark and brooding and doesn't have rape and heaps of drugs and stuff in it. I'd like to be able to pick a comic up off the shelf and say to people, you know, your kid wants to read Batman, here's a fantastic Batman book that's not too dark, not too grim and gritty. That's how we got
And it's
into
a
it.
one-shot.
Oh, give me some more one-and-dones, please. God, if any publishers ever listen to this, and I know there's a chorus of retailers saying it to the publishers constantly, give us more done-in-ones. That's the kind of stuff that got us into different characters. You'd pick up a done-in-one of a Flash and just go, that was a cool Flash story. And then you become a Flash fan from it, or Green Lantern, or Spider-Man, and stuff like that. But that's going back around. We treat every customer that comes in at Kaboom like it could be their first time reading a comic, and so we don't want to be snooty and go, "You've never read a comic." We want to be cool. Welcome to the world of comics. This is going to blow your socks off when you get deep into this thing. And I guess it's a bit like selling drugs. You know, you got to get them with that first hook. Comics will rot your mind though. Nothing else.
The comic is free.
Smith-
Wade's watching at home.
Hello, Smithy. one of my favourite customers at Kaboom, actually, Mr. Smith. He always gives me a bit of G up whenever he comes in. So it's good to see you're tuning in tonight, Smithy. And yes, I got your message. I've got those books on order for you. Smithy's finally getting around with the whole coronavirus. I love it. There's no new comics coming out. So guys like my mate Smithy there, he's going, shit, I'm going to wrap up some of my trade runs that I've tapered off. So he's getting the rest of his Walking Dead to finish that series off. So thanks, Mr. Smith, for supporting your local comic book store. We appreciate it. And if you, no matter where you are in Australia or around the world, if you're watching this, go to your local comic book shop and support them. Now's the time to grab some books. There are some phenomenal shops around Australia. You've got All Star down in Melbourne, and those guys are struggling to get their books online. They don't normally have an online presence, but they are taking orders over the phone right now and shipping stuff out. You've got King's Comics. They're getting ready to unveil they were meant to have their big new unveiling of their new shop. In Sydney, and coronavirus has put that whole thing on hold, but just the little snippets we've seen and things we're hearing, that new King's Comics store, when it does open, is going to be phenomenal.
Cool.
They've got something like 40,000 back issues they're going to have. I think it's on the second floor in there or something like that. They're going to have this whole section of just back issues. They have stuff in the warehouse, and they're doing little pictures every now and then of warehouse finds, some sets and stuff. Looks phenomenal. The guys at Comics Etc. in Brisbane are doing sales at the moment. They're also doing live Facebook shows throughout the week, or Instagram shows around the shop showing you. We're doing videos here. We try to do a video once or twice a week here at Kaboom Comics, just to show you what's in store. So make sure you support your local comic book store during this time of shutdown. No new releases are coming out, but you can collect some fantastic back issues, graphic novels, all that kind of stuff, and keep your stores open.
Some comments on the video. At least there should be a lot of writing happening at the moment.
Yeah, actually, Mark, you're dead right. You'd think that, but some of the companies have said pencils down, and I guess typewriters down, or computers down for the writers. Some series have been put on hold, so some freelancers are really struggling in the States and around the world who work for some of the big companies because they have been told pencils down. I would have thought this is now the opportunity for creatives to go, I'm going to bump out a couple extra scripts, the writers. Artists will be going, frig, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll be ahead on the book. So when it comes out, we'll actually have an issue or two in the can. But apparently the companies aren't doing that. They're not willing to pay the freelancers and the creatives to actually do that. In some instances, they're saying, nope, pencils down.
Scott has a question.
How do you feel about the DC animated movies that have been coming out in recent years? We just got through Constantine, City of Angels, and loved it. I haven't watched that one yet, but I want to. Justice League Dark, Throne of Atlantis, Justice League War. Do you like the continuity they seem to be creating, and how do you think they could mimic the success of the animated movies into live action? Good question, Scott. I have said for yonks that DC does animated movies better than Marvel, right? Now, Marvel's animated movies, they're not crap, but they're just meh. Whereas Marvel's movies,
The live action.
for most part, have been phenomenal. I still watch the original Iron Man and just go, wow.
Yes, that was only on
Not
recently.
long ago, yeah. We watched it and went, wow, that still holds up today. DC's live action movies have been a bit hit and miss. No joke. I mean, I'm a DC boy through and through, but their live action movies disappoint me. In saying that, I loved Aquaman. I thought Aquaman was quite good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Shazam. I thought it was lighthearted, and I don't know why my wife likes it so much because of,
Zachary Levi.
I can hear it. She's like 2 suburbs away, and I just heard a noise from my wife. She just loves Zach Levi, right? And I like him as an actor. I think he's good, and I thought he was perfect as Shazam. Sadly, Justice League as a movie was... Yeah, it wasn't great. It really
Release the Snyder Cut!
it had moments. Ben Affleck as Batman. I still, hand on heart,
Yes.
one of the best Batmans we've seen. Sadly, we're not going to see him in a solo film, and that breaks my heart because I thought Ben Affleck did a fantastic job.
And he was so on board to do a solo film.
I still like Henry Cavill as Superman.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Superman films have been wow. So maybe they need to get some of the guys working on these animated films and bring them up to the big leagues and go, hey, maybe we'll try going with a slightly unknown director. Let's focus more on the story and do a fantastic Superman or Flash movie or whatever else. Focus on the characters. Focus on the story.
And I think the thing is, with the animated movies, they're not necessarily the originating movie. They're already that character. We don't have to explain his backstory.
I'm sick of having every time to see how a character comes about.
Yeah.
So we all know how Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man. We know who Thor is, right? We know Captain America. We don't need to see origin films time and time again. Every time a new director comes on board and the studio goes, oh, we're going to do a new Batman film, and we have to have the obligatory, this is how Batman came about. 'cause
Batman
his parents were killed.
89 was not an origin film.
It had flashbacks. You did the flashbacks in there.
But he was already Batman.
I don't need to know how Batman gets his gadgets. I don't need to see him in the Batcave talking to Lucius Fox with the blueprints going, and then I want you to build me this military grade thing. But Batman builds his own shit, right? He does. He's clever enough, right? That's why I hated the Christian Bale movies, right? You know, I have to import this mask from blah blah blah. You know, fuck.
Hey, I read some rumours today that Jeff Johns.
Yep.
The rumour mill is that he actively has been causing some shit with the DC cinematic universe.
Ooh, see, I'm a Jeff Johns fan as a writer. Jeff Johns writing a book, I'm on board every time. I think he's a fantastic writer.
So yeah, apparently he actively tried to get Zack Snyder sort of.
Well, if that's the
shit
case,
cans.
boo, Jeff Johns.
And there seems to be a lot of people within Warner Brothers that are kind of saying, "Oh, we're not friends with Jeff Johns. He's over there."
That has been rumours coming out of the comics division, at least. That's part of the reason why some of his books have been delayed. A lot of the stuff that he was building with Doomsday Clock, which was heavily delayed, they just went around him. That's why Brian Michael Bendis was able to bring back Legion of Superheroes. Other people have toyed with Scott Snyder in one of his Justice League runs, brought back Justice Society of America. This was all stuff that was meant to hold off, and Jeff Johns was bringing that all back at the end of Doomsday Clock. DC just got impatient with him and just went around him. There's been rumblings that he's been on the outs with some of the higher-ups at DC as well. So maybe Jeff Johns, his time with Warner Brothers, might be coming to an end. You don't know.
He's the showrunner for is it Stargirl?
Yes.
And that keeps on being pushed back because he doesn't know how to be a showrunner. And I think everyone's just saying, right, you just stay over there. Stay away from everything
Maybe
else.
focus on comics, Jeff, because you do it so well. Don't try and have too many... Sometimes, if you put too many feathers in the cap, you look like a chook. I don't think it's a real saying, but I'm going to make that up.
I'm going to write that down.
Write that down. That's a piece of advice from me to you.
If
you wear too many feathers in your cap, you'll look like a chook.
Wear too many...
You're a slow rider.
Feathers.
But thanks for the great question there, Scott, about that. That is, I do genuinely enjoy most things that the DC animated movies put out. I'm behind on a couple, but I don't mind them. The style could be a bit better. I think they're going for that one house style now.
Yes.
And I'm not necessarily big fan of that same style for every movie. I like it when they get different animators, different animation styles in there. They say they're doing Kingdom Come, and I'm like, if it doesn't look like which you can do. You can actually kind of pump out a CG version of Kingdom Come if you wanted to spend the money and get the right people behind it. I would watch the hell out of that, as long as it looks, reasonably a lot like Alex Ross's work.
The problem is, I don't think they want to spend the money.
Oh no! No studio at the moment wants to, because they're in this world of they want to take the minimal risk because they're so worried about streaming services and people pirating stuff, and no one's going to cinemas at the moment. Well, especially now with coronavirus, but even before that, cinema numbers were dropping off. You talk to most, we hadn't gone to a movie most of last year.
AMC is talking about going bankrupt. AMC Cinemas in
Walking
America.
Dead, eh? Oh, no.
AMC Cinemas.
Oh, okay. I was going to say the mob.
Are talking about they're going to have to file for bankruptcy.
Really? That's bad. That's not good. That's not good at all. There's going to be a lot. There's a lot of comic shops around the world shutting at the moment, and there's a lot of them saying, "Oh, they're shut because of coronavirus." But a lot of them are saying we won't come back from it. I'm guessing that probably is the same with cinema chains, retail. There's probably chunks of record stores and stuff like that too that might go to the wall. It's a dangerous, scary time at the moment. I don't want to finish on a low note tonight. Bring something back up.
If people that may have watched us in the past know that I went to America and spent some time with film crews in America.
You did.
Now,
take me with you.
If you've ever watched the TV show Shot in the Dark, I went and hung out with some of those guys. Now,
just ignore me for a second.
People who are fans of the Shot in the Dark TV show have been calling for a second season ever since the first season was released.
Yeah.
This week, Scott, the bloke who went and hung out with in America, made a video saying that Netflix are very interested at doing a second season. And as soon as this whole coronavirus thing is all done, we're in.
Really?
So it's either going to be called Shot in the Dark 2, or a different production company is going to make essentially Shot in the Dark 2. Or just
you gonna go
called
over
something
for it?
else. Well, last time they did it, they shot for 12 months before they released it.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of time for me to go over and hang out with them and be a
Do
part
it.
of it.
Ginge was there the night that the
Trump
orange,
would start.
Orange Oompa Loompa Trump, the night his star got
Yes.
smashed up on Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes.
You were there. You filmed it.
I filmed it, and I've got a little bit of the star at home.
You smuggled it back across with you.
Smuggled it across. I did pick up the brass U from Trump, and I thought, no, I better not take that. So I gave it to Scott. So, probably shouldn't say that. But I've got a little piece of the granite from the star.
Was that the same trip you shot on Universal Backlog? Was that the trip before?
That was the trip before.
You actually done a little short film.
Yeah.
This man here has shot at the Universal Studios Backlog.
Yes, it was the
Same
actual...
street where Desperate Housewives was filmed. It's not there anymore.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say that the set that I filmed at was the Addams Family house from back in the day.
Oh, really?
The actual Addams Family from the TV show, not from the movie.
Yep.
But it was amazing to be actually filming on such history. I think Abbott and Costello also filmed in that house as well.
Really?
It was so cool.
Yeah, and
So
you didn't
cool.
have me with you. You went over there without me that trip.
And the whole thing about me wanting to do it was, I'm finally going to get a short film with American accents.
Yep.
To
And it was a silent film.
We had to do silent film.
Which would have been stuffed if I was there, because I can't be silent for a minute.
But chewing on the furniture might have on the scenery. No?
What are you saying? What are you saying? We've done so many award-winning short films together. What are you saying? That's the end of our friendship. We'll always be
There's a
friends. We
distance-
just won't work
There's a
together.
distance between us. It's 2 meters.
There's a gap.
There's a gap.
There's a gap.
It's was it forced perspective?
You don't have to worry. You won't die of coronavirus, because I'm going to hit you with a baseball bat
Like
as soon as we get off air.
It's forced something.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight to Geek Speak Live.
Thank you very much.
We're loving being back behind the mics and doing this stuff, hey? Like, this
Yeah.
is...
Let us know in the comments stuff you want to see for next week.
Hopefully,
next Friday.
hopefully you've enjoyed the show. If there's stuff you want us to talk about next week, or even through the week, send us a message on the Geek Speak page and say, hey guys, how about this, or bring this up, or whatever else, and we'll try and do it. Because we're here to entertain you.
Thanks for the love hearts and the smiley faces and the comments.
Did you get love hearts?
Well, yeah, one just popped up. A love heart just popped up.
Oh, thank you to whoever did the love hearts.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Stay safe over Easter. I know we can't travel anywhere. Well, you're not meant to. If you're thinking about it, stay at home. But I hope you have a...
Hashtag stay at home.
Hashtag... What was that?
But that's the hashtag.
Is it?
That's the hash.
Hashtag stay at home. Stay safe. Enjoy time with your family. This is the perfect time. You're locked in close quarters with your family. Now's the time to enjoy it. Don't kill them. This has been my co-host with the most.
Wade
Ginge.
Thompson.
I've been Todd. I am Todd Bailey. I've been many things tonight. Sober's not one of them. We will see you next time here on Geek Speak Live. Stay geeky.
Bye.
Bye.